What's going on? It's MeJoeShmoe, and as if it wasn't embarrassing enough to be a Rick and Morty fan in 2023, you can just, it's just all over at this point. So if you don't already know, let me fill you in as quick as I possibly can. And the quickest way I can do this is to plagiarize an article from NPR. So here we are on NPR. Rick and Morty co-creator Justin Roiland faces felony domestic violence charges. He is facing one felony charge of domestic battery with corporal injury. This is for allegedly hurting an unarmed victim from whom he was dating. He has also been charged with false imprisonment, which I've looked into that. There's not enough information, at least not, my brain can't comprehend. I thought that was for like the government or police, not some dude. So yeah, that's the bumpy and grinding of it. That's the meat. But I find the potatoes to be much more interesting. We have that, but the most interesting here are the accusations I keep seeing of him coercing minors and his opinions on minors. So there are a lot of texts and messages in general that have leaked recently that supposedly show that Justin Roiland has been texting minors inappropriately, referring to them often as jailbait. In one instance here, supposedly asking if they were going to get Morty tattooed on your boob, licking your nipple. If not you, then who? The girl he sent that message to supposedly being 16. And you can take these accusations, at least in the text messages, however you want to take them at the moment, if they're real, if they've been faked, yada, yada, yada. But his repeated inappropriate actions towards women and minors, added with a little bit of flavoring here, a little bit of salt and pepper, I have discovered on the internet. So I'd like you to take all that in. I'd like you to remember all that information that I just gave you with the text messages and the accusations and the felony charges, and especially the minor part, because the way he spoke supposedly to minors, obviously, well, at least maybe not obviously, but to me, that's the biggest deal here, right? Like, abusing anyone's a big deal. Abusing women is even worse. And abusing minors is the worst of all of those three things. Them all being pretty freaking bad. But any doubt that I had personally that those may have been faked was severely subtracted. It was taken away when I heard about this clip from an old podcast that Justin Roiland had done from a number of years ago. And I just want you to sit back and listen to this with me. And tell me what you think in the comments after listening to it, please.
As a race, are we that crazy? Like, when we were fucking 100 years ago, it was little 13-year-old girls, if they were built like a woman, they were getting married and having kids. And now we're going to be all precious about it? I keep using the word precious today. That's the word of the week.
Which is a movie about a child molesting.
Precious!
Right?
You're a Down syndrome baby.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyways, I'm not a pedophile, though. I do follow
I'm a pedophile.
the law. I wait till they're 18 if I'm ever so lucky as to have the opportunity.
So yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot for me. I don't know what you think. And, you know, again, this by itself at the time was perceived as a joke. But with the recent accusations, I think there's a pretty good chance that it might be more than a joke. Especially his take on, I follow the law, I wait till they're 18. Oh my fucking God. I for one, you know, I'm of the maybe libertarian mindset that the law does not determine right from wrong. I don't need the law to tell me that it's wrong to go murder puppies and it's wrong to go murder people. I just know that that's a bad thing to do. Just like I know that it's inappropriate for me as a now 25-year-old even to try to pursue in any capacity, whether it be at this time or later when it's legal to pursue a romantic or sexual relationship with a minor. Like in other countries, the age of consent is not 18, it is lower, and I think that people still often look at that in disgust. Like, I don't see many YouTubers from other countries viewing or that commentate on relationships with wide age gaps with a positive light, whether even in their countries it be legal or not. But will this kill Rick and Morty? Is this going to be the end of Rick and Morty and all of the wonderful franchises, Squanch Games, Solar Opposites that Justin Roiland has handed? I don't know. I don't know is the answer, but I want to pose the question because I personally think that a lot of what gave Rick and Morty the popularity that it eventually received was the fact that the co-creators, the creators were so open, like they were the face of the project. Everybody knows that Justin Roiland is the voice of Rick and Morty. Everyone knows how deeply he's involved in all of his projects. He's not like some producer that hangs out in the background that you would have to do some digging for. And I think for that reason, you know, that's part of the reason that all of his properties have been able to, become so popular, because people hear he's involved in it, people hear it's his project, and people like what he produces, so they want to check it out. But Rick and Morty is a huge, ginormous franchise. Even with the whole Rick and Morty fans or weird memes that have made it a little bit more embarrassing to admit openly that you enjoy Rick and Morty, at least, it's still a huge money producer for Adult Swim. So will they find someone that's able to take over the project, someone that can fill in the roles, and the fans will still receive it positively? Or is this just such a nasty stink in everyone's mouth that it's just done? Squanch Game's done, Solar Opposites done, Rick and Morty done, But yeah, I don't know. That's just my little take and the information that I found most interesting on the subject. Definitely everything that he's being accused of is freaking terrible. I think that the stuff involving minors is the worst. And that also paired with this podcast, which this is just a 28-second clip from the podcast that he did where he talked about the minors thing. I mean, at one point I listened to a larger clip and he even said, if I was a 13-year-old boy, I'd be getting laid all the time because, 13-year-old girls will just be awestruck. That's just never a good look to say in any context. It is fucking bizarre that anyone said that at all. And the fact that he's now being accused of coercing minors and saying inappropriate things to minors, it just adds a lot of flavor to that dish. But I've rambled on for enough as normal. I'm dying. My channel is dying. If you liked the video, please please follow. Check out my other links. I'm always tweeting on Twitter. I'm going to start streaming soon. I just broke my door.